Welcome to the main news, coming to you live from our Pockets Hill studios. I am Tariro Manamike, and we have Susan Masona at the Sign Language Desk.
Great to have you along. My name is Batla Nepure. These are tonight's top stories.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa rallies the nation to reflect on sacrifices made by liberation fighters.
We're taking you through what transpired today across the country as we mark National Heroes Day. Mashonaland West Province is hosting this year's Heroes Gala at Chemanza grounds in Mondoro. We'll be giving you details later on.
And in sports, Scotland advanced to the last 16 of the Zifa Munumutapa Challenge Cup after overcoming FC Oden 3-0. Now, those were our headlines. We now give you the leading stories in detail. President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa has rallied Zimbabweans to reflect on the sacrifices made by sons and daughters of the soil who made it possible to have a united, peaceful, as well as democratic nation.
Well, the national commemorations to mark National Heroes Day. The main commemorations are being held at the National Heroes Acre, presided over by the President. Let's hear from our chief correspondent, Ruben Barwe, who was there.
The 2026 46th Heroes Commemoration is with a difference. This is with the theme, Lest We Forget. President Emmerson Mnangagwa said, we are leaning on the shoulders of those who made it possible for this country to be liberated. It's a clarion call for all Zimbabweans to rally behind what they fought for.
We stand on the shoulders of giants, men of whom are not recorded on glittery books or epitaphs of stone, but their blood is internally blended with the soils of our land. Their dreams, their hopes and aspirations are alive from generation to generation. As we carry on their legacy of fortitude, gallantry, and patriotism, let us be aware that freedom, independence, and sovereignty is not free, but requires ongoing care, vigilance, and a diligent stewardship.
Lest we forget, yes, is the theme of this year's commemoration. But there are certain takeaways from this rich theme of the 2026 Heroes Commemoration.
The Armed Liberation War values that gave birth to an independent Zimbabwe shall continue to shape the country's national identity. This principle shall never be compromised. Tinoramba avo vanoshivira kusawirirana munyika yedu yokwedu. To date, we take pride in conquering the challenges of colonialism and facing head-on the legal sanctions imposed on our country by some Western countries. Zimbabwe is a food secure and sovereign nation, pursuing technology-driven industrialization, marching resolutely towards the attainment of Vision 2030.
On the economy, the President said, Zimbabwe is an agricultural country, and there are quite a lot of pluses if we are to tick boxes of what is to be achieved or what has been achieved.
We are proud of farmers across various subsectors who are emerging as new heroes and heroines in the agricultural space. The success must be sustained as a living monument to the indelible legacies of our bearers who fought to regain our land from those who had stolen it, the whites. May the land, therefore, continue to give forth its fruit so that we can eat and dwell safely in the land of our fathers. Nyika ngairambe chibereka zvibereko zvayo isu tichirya tichiguta tichigara takachengeteka muno munyika yokwedu yechipikirwa. Hallelujah!
He also said that the mining sector is the key to opening the developmental thrust in this country.
Zimbabwe will no longer export raw natural resources. We are in a new era of localized value addition, beneficiation, industrialization, and manufacturing. This is seeing our economy broaden the range of domestic industries, opening up more jobs, and generating higher value from export earnings. New heroes and heroines are sprouting in the mining sector. However, this should never be at the expense and detriment of future generations. My administration will not excuse any wanton damage of infrastructure, rivers and natural environments. These must be rehabilitated. Our economy and communities must sustainably enjoy the benefits of independence, freedom, and democracy.
The president said tourism, Zimbabwe is now the favored destination of many tourists in the world, and let's build on that thrust. So as thousands of Zimbabweans gather at the Heroes Acres, be it district, provincial, to mention but a few, they are here to reflect on the contribution of those who pay the supreme sacrifice, those who are still living and in the country and outside the country. We are talking of those who lie in graves in Zambia, in Mozambique, in Botswana, in Tanzania, in Angola. All these people made what Zimbabwe is today. Their supreme sacrifice actually defines who Zimbabweans are. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News at the National Heroes Acre in Harare.
In other news, President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa has presented national flags to the families of national heroes who received posthumous recognition.
The Second Republic continues to recognize and honor the profound sacrifices made by those who shaped the nation's sovereignty, ensuring their legacies live on. On the occasion of the 46th edition of the National Heroes Day commemorations this Monday in Harare, President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa honored 5 fallen heroes posthumously.
These include Comrade Joseph Dube, Comrade Herbert Sambo, Comrade Petros Kumalo, Comrade Noah Gumbochuma, and Comrade Shumirai Wekwete.
Ngiyabonga ku-President wetu, His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, ngalokho asenzele khona thina abantu bakoDube ukuthi anike isicoco esiphakamileyo kumkami and angikwazi ngiswela imlomo eyinkulungwane ukuthi ngimbonge uPresident ngento asenzele yona.
And would like to thank the President and the government of Zimbabwe for declaring and recognizing Ubaba after 30 years, and long live the President. Siyabonga for intosenzele yona koDube.
We are truly honored knowing our mother, our grandmother, daughter, the recognition and the valuable input she did for the liberation struggle. It was very, very, very commendable. And we really want to thank His Excellency and the Second Republic for finally recognizing her as a national heroine.
I want to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who came back to recognize his friend, his comrade in arms, since they were the ones who started the first group of the Second Chimurenga War at Chinhoyi Battle, 1966, 28th of April. He came back after burying him as a provincial hero seeker at Chinhoyi, provincial hero seeker. He came back and recognized that he deserves to be a national hero as the founder of the Second Chimurenga War.
Prior to the proceedings, President Mnangagwa inspected the Guard of Honor mounted by the Presidential Guard. President Mnangagwa and his two deputies, Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga and Colonel Retired Kembo Mohadi, laid wreaths at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Up! Up! Up!
Lively musical performances by artists that include Alec Macheso, Diana Samkange, and the Zimbabwe Republic Police Band kept the crowd entertained.
Africa, 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 Africa.
The great sacrifice by the liberation fighters will forever remain entrenched in the country's history, and their legacies will continue to illuminate the country under an atmosphere of peace and unity. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, diplomats accredited to Zimbabwe say the Heroes' Day is a beacon for youth to emulate the patriotism of liberation fighters and their selfless contribution to the country's independence.
Zimbabwe once again came together to unite under one common purpose, to commemorate and celebrate the 46th edition of the National Heroes' Day, commemorated here at the National Shrine in Harare. The message by His Excellency President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa was clear that the nation should commemorate the sacrifices of the heroes and heroines who gave their all to ensure the liberation and independence of Zimbabwe. The country's 46th edition of the National Heroes' Day was attended by several diplomats accredited to Zimbabwe, and they also gave their impressions on what it means for Zimbabwe to be commemorating this day.
It's a very strong message to the young people to carry on that same patriotic activities, to continue from where they left and build the country.
It's a very special day, very honored. It's of a special speech of the president. It's an honor to be here.
It's been a breathtaking moment, and I think it's also a lesson to even our country, Malawi, that we can even consider putting up a structure for the heroes.
According to Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Dr. Jamu Soda, this day is an important milestone in the country's history and also an opportunity for the nation to reflect on the sacrifices of the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe who sacrificed to guarantee the liberation and independence of Zimbabwe.
This is a very, very important day where we take our time to pay homage, to thank those people who selflessly decided to go and defend our territorial integrity. We had lost our inheritance, but they decided to go and fight. This independence for Zimbabwe was not just given to us, but it was through a sacrifice, blood, and lives that were lost. So it is a very, very important day that we are commemorating here at the National Heroes Day.
Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage Minister Honorable Kazembe Kazembe also stated the importance of this day, highlighting that it's also an opportunity for Zimbabwe to reflect on the sacrifices of the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe.
War veterans, both those that left us and those that are living, they went through a lot. Some they are living with, with illnesses that they got, during the war. Some are disabled. Some they don't even talk about it. But yet the war veterans remain humble. This day is very important that we remember what they went through. We remember the sacrifices of those who perished.
The shackles of colonialism was a heavy yoke endured by the majority under the colonial regime, and it took the great sacrifice of men and women who gave their all to liberate the nation and guarantee the freedom and independence we enjoy as a nation today. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News, Harare.
It was a day to remember as the nation was united in celebrating living and fallen gallant sons and daughters of the soil who were at the forefront of liberating the country from colonial bondage. We get an account of what transpired at some provincial centres from our bureau chiefs.
Before wreaths were laid and before speeches began, here at Nkulumane Provincial Heroes Acre, where the Bulawayo Heroes Day commemorations were held, two young poets in their local languages showcased how the memory of the nation's heroes is being kept alive. Scores of people attended the commemorations, presided over by the Minister of State for Bulawayo Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Judith Ncube, said the use of diverse languages reflects how Zimbabweans of all backgrounds fought together for independence. With the commemorations running under the theme, lest we forget, the fact that young people are now custodians of the country's history is an indication that the country's liberation story is in safe hands.
In Matabeleland, North Province, National Heroes Day commemorations took place at Lupane Provincial Heroes Acre. The young people we spoke to here indicated that the fact that their relatives are buried here is a source of inspiration, a source of courage for them also to work for their country. The procession began with the Matabeleland North Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Richard Moyo, inspecting the quarter guard and laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier before reading the president's speech. Medals were also presented in honor of some of the veterans of the liberation struggle who made sacrifice for the liberation of the country. At Lupane Provincial Heroes Acre, there are 39 heroes and heroines laid to rest at this site.
44 heroes and heroines are lying here at the Gwanda Provincial Heroes Acre. These are not just ordinary men and women, but women and men of valor who sacrifice their youthful years for the attainment of this country's freedom. As Matabeleland South Province gathers here at the Gwanda Provincial Heroes Acre to commemorate the Heroes Day, families and friends were given an opportunity to bring flowers and wreaths.
It means a lot to us knowing Guti. He's one of the people that contributed into the independence of Zimbabwe.
The official proceedings started with the arrival of the Minister of State for Matabeleland South Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Albert Ngulube, who inspected the quarter guard before reading the president's speech, lay wreaths at the tomb of the unknown soldier, and tour all the 44 graves at the shrine. Ofa Simba, LMG Choir and other artists entertained the gathering. For a province that prides itself for having produced 44 national heroes, this day is significant. To the ZANU-PF Provincial Chairperson, Comrade Mangaliso Ndlovu, this day carries a deeper meaning to the people of Matabeleland South Province, as the nation commemorates the sacrifices made by our heroes, running under the theme, lest we forget. It is a constant reminder to the youth not to forget.
The Midlands Province, which is at the confluence of economic activity in Zimbabwe, saw young people, business persons, war veterans, as well as the uniformed forces, among others, converging at the Midlands Heroes Acre to give an account of what this day stands for in commemoration of the departed sons and daughters of the soil.
The procession began with the Midlands Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Ncube, inspecting the quarter guard and laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier before delivering the president's address. Medals were also presented in honor of some of the veterans of the liberation struggle who made sacrifices for the liberation of the country.
Interred here at the Midlands Provincial Shrine are 288 heroes and heroines of the liberation struggle, and these are the remains that stand as a reminder of their lasting contribution to the independence of Zimbabwe.
At Masvingo Provincial Heroes Acre, Heroes Day commemorations began long before the main program got underway, as families of heroes and heroines buried at the shrine were already arriving. For many, the first call of duty was to visit the graves of their loved ones, sweeping the surroundings, cleaning the graves, and laying flowers in remembrance. As the morning progressed, moments of family remembrance gave way to a gathering of veterans of the liberation struggle, families of deceased heroes and heroines, government officials, traditional leaders, youths, and members of the community. The occasion also provided an opportunity for the Liberation War generation to reflect on the responsibility of preserving the ideals and legacy of the struggle. At Masvingo Provincial Heroes Acre, 101 heroes and heroines are buried, with 87 of them being men and 14 women. The commemorations, led by Masvingo Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Ezra Chadzamira, who read President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa's speech, were marked by a lot of entertainment from various groups.
Right. What was taking place in various other parts of the country. Let's continue with our coverage of that, bring you more on what transpired in areas that you might have missed.
This Monday, Manicaland province joined the rest of the country to commemorate Heroes Day, a special day dedicated to honor the heroes and heroines of the country. For the families of the provincial heroes and heroines, Heroes Day was deeply personal. Some of the war veterans who spoke to this news crew at these commemorations said this day brings back unforgettable, fond memories of the liberation struggle. Manicaland Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Advocate Misheki Mugadza, delivered President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa's speech at these commemorations, and he also conversed with the families of the provincial heroes and heroines interred here.
In Mashonaland West, the commemorations were marked by a major show of solidarity, with the key highlight being an 88-kilometer foot march from Karoi to Chinoi by 8 young men in honor of the Chinoi 7 who were killed in 1966 after confronting the Rhodesian forces in one of the defining episodes of Zimbabwe's liberation struggle. Families of the departed cadres commended the ongoing facelift at the provincial shrine. Mashonaland West Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Marian Chombo, presided over the proceedings and delivered the President's Heroes Day address. Meanwhile, families of the Chinoi 7 were also honored during the commemorations, having recently received residential stands from a local property developer, Vine City.
In Bindura, the major highlight of this year's Heroes Day commemorations was the unveiling of 33 new tombstones donated by Canterbury Mining Company. The gesture has brought uniformity and renewed dignity at the Mashonaland Central Provincial Heroes Acre, which underwent a major facelift ahead of this day.
The company's corporate secretary, Mr. Samuel Rusike, says the gesture is a small price to pay in honor of the ultimate sacrifice made by the fallen heroes and heroines in creating a free Zimbabwe and an economy in which indigenous people could participate.
We owe a dignified send-off and memory to the fallen heroes, because they gave us an opportunity to be able to mine. So they are not here to see us mine, but what we can do is posthumously give them dignity.
People from different backgrounds gathered at the shrine to honor the men and women who paid the ultimate price for the country's independence, with many saying their sacrifice must never be forgotten. Official proceedings began with the arrival of the Bindura Mayor and Service Chiefs, followed by arrival of Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, who inspected a quarter guard mounted by the Artillery Brigade. He then paid his respects at the tomb of the unknown soldier before the singing of the national anthem and the reading of the president's speech.
As music and dance filled the Mashonaland Central Provincial Heroes Acre, the event carried a powerful message across generations.
In Mashonaland East Province, people attended the Heroes Day commemorations in their numbers at the Provincial Heroes Eka in Marondera as families, community members and various stakeholders from different backgrounds gathered to honor the country's heroes and heroines. 200 war veterans were presented with medals at the commemorations, with the recipients expressing gratitude to government for honoring their sacrifices to liberate the country. The proceedings were presided over by Mashonaland East Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Advocate Itai Ndudzo, who delivered the president's speech and led the laying of wreaths.
The atmosphere at the Harare Provincial Heroes Eka carried both reflection and celebration as Zimbabweans gathered to pay tribute to men and women who dedicated their lives to the liberation of the country. Leading the Harare commemorations was Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Senator Charles Tawengwa, alongside other government officials and stakeholders. For families of the fallen heroes, the commemorations provided an opportunity to personally honor their loved ones. Flowers were laid at the graves, symbolizing respect, gratitude, and the enduring connection between the heroes and the generations they helped to free. Music and entertainment became part of the commemorations, creating an atmosphere that celebrated the lives and legacy of those being honored.
Continuing with the Heroes Day celebrations, a total of 40 national heroes that were buried at Lady Stanley and Pelandaba cemeteries in Bulawayo have been remembered as the province joined the rest of the nation in commemorating Heroes Day. And our reporter, Mhlomeli Ncube, gives us the details.
It is a time to honor and reflect on those who paid the supreme sacrifice for the liberation of the country, and yet some still have unanswered questions.
Exactly asikwazi ukukhulu ngaphi, so lapha kuleli tshe lakhe siyathaba namhla ukuthi khona siyamkhumbula, but besicela abadala ukuthi nxa bele any knowledge or anything bengasichathekela ukuthi kwahamba njani, ngoba lokho esingakwazi labazukulu sonke la ukuthi ukhulu kwahamba njani, esikwazi ukuthi abamcina bembone eBotswana.
Others never gave up, knocking on government doors till their loved ones were recognized for their heroic work during the liberation struggle. But all concur that in recognition of liberation stalwarts, government has played its part.
Sithanda ukubonga uhulumende into asenzele yona this year after 45 years to recognize ugogo uMrs Bokwe.
Sithanda ukubonga ihulumende ngokuobserva ilanga elinje elamaqhawe, omunye wamaqhawe engubaba wethu uLukhawuthi. Siyazi ukuthi babe banengi, kodwa hayi ihulumende lathi yasinika iprivilege yokuthi lathi sifakwe embhalweni ama heroes.
Uhulumende leyawaze sifakela leli museum.
This was how the Heroes Day commemoration script played out this morning in Bulawayo, as family members in the company of government and ruling party officials paid tribute to names such as Brigadier General Lookout Masuku, Comrades Welshman Mabena, Ethan Dube, David Inos Malandu, and others who served in various capacities in the country's liberation history and post-independence.
I was very pleased that here in Bulawayo, the families of the respective heroes, one by one, are present. We just had a breakfast, a meeting with them, hosted by the Minister of State, Honorable Judith Ncube, and they also are here with us as we tour these places of rest, the grave sites, and they'll be able to explain to us how important these heroes are, what they did, how important they were to the families.
Imbali ngacaci abona leli muzwe kokuphele khuluma nge-heritage, and this is part of that. Silamaqhawe esizwe alele lapha besizophelekezela izimuli ezijiyeneyo, sibonga kumongameli.
This year's Heroes Day was commemorated under the theme, Lest We Forget, and is apt in preserving the history of those who brought independence to Zimbabwe. Mhlomuli Ncube, SABC News, Bulawayo.
And from national commemorations as well as provincial commemorations, personally, people did take time to reflect on the sacrifices made by the heroes that we continue to celebrate. Well, Some people decided to take a bit of sport, others found themselves in entertainment sports. This is a compilation of what our reporters saw in Harare today.
Pembera heroes kudai isitikatika timbogocha gocho zvedu
twane rusunungu twane kufara zvatikuita ndevasipa mwezi tisingedza amushukurize nemvura kuno.
Heroes Day is about remembering those who gave their lives for the freedom of Zimbabwe. And for many Zimbabweans, that freedom also means having fun with family.
Nasizorema ire heroes asitauya nemhuri kuzofara zvakakosha taunongoya kuzorora nekutandara nemhuri.
Zvinhu zvinotikoshera. As youth, we are proud of that.
For the young, the holiday offered another kind of freedom, gathering in their neighborhoods for street football.
Nasi public holiday, just go at Ambeluma streets.
While some were enjoying the day off, others still had to keep the wheels of the city turning. In the CBD, it was business as usual for some, with people taking advantage of the public holiday to do their shopping, while workers in essential services remained on duty.
Nasichambomayamaya mabasa but time tichazonofara nemhuri.
Ndauya kuzoshopa ndina madhamu. Ndikuvabatsira kutsvaga zvavari kutsvaga.
Ashasiroti pamwe toenda kuholide tichinofarawo nevamwe chipemberera Heroes Day nhasi zuva redu but tiri kubasa manje.
Others turned to live entertainment, with Victor Kunonga performing for fans at Gava's restaurant. It's a very important day for me because we celebrate our heroes that fought for this country, and if not for them, we wouldn't be here.
Relax, probably just thanking God, reflecting on the goodness of the Lord and even for the work that these heroes did.
Meanwhile, as Zimbabweans found different ways to mark Heroes Day, some will cap off the day with live performances. Patience Nyakato, SABC News, Harare.
All right, reports there of what has been taking place across the country as the nation marks Heroes Day. How was your Heroes Day?
Well, it was an emotional one, just reflecting on all the sacrifices that were made by the heroes and heroines, you know, considering that many years ago, you and I would not be sitting here.
Absolutely.
So it's total respect.
Right. Just in case you might have missed what transpired today, you can always go onto our website. It's www.zbcnews.co.zw. Our Twitter or X handle is ZBC News Online, or other social media platforms, ZBC News Online. Z Plus, the new baby on the line. That means you can watch live television using that app. Please download it. That is on your Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store.
All right, now for stories still to come in this bulletin. Mashonaland West Province hosts the Heroes Gala set for Chemanza grounds in Mondoro. And in sports, Scotland's advance to the last 16 of Zifa Motapa Challenge Cup after overcoming FC Oden 3-0. We take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be giving you those stories and more. Stay with us.
The Minister of Defense, Honorable Opa Chamu Zipange Mchinguri Kashiri, Deputy Minister of Defense, Brigadier General Retired Honorable Levi Maithome, the Secretary for Defense, Comrade Aaron Daniel Tonde Nepera, Commander Defense Forces, General Emmanuel Matatu, Service Commanders, General and Air Officers, Chief Director, Directors, Senior Officers, Officers, men and women of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces and staff of the Ministry of Defense wish to congratulate His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, and the nation at large in remembering our fallen heroes and heroines on Heroes Day, running under the theme, Lest We Forget. The 46th Heroes Day commemorations is a historic occasion that gives us yet another opportunity to introspect on the liberation struggle and honor the sacrifices made by gallant sons and daughters of the soil for an independent and sovereign Zimbabwe. We take this opportunity to once again reaffirm our collective responsibility to safeguarding our hard-won independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity in honor of the fallen heroes and heroines. Minister of Defense, guaranteeing peace and stability for the attainment of Vision 2030.
The Ministry of Tourism and Hospitality Industry, the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority Board, Management and Staff, Mosiwo Tunya Development Company Private Limited Board, Management and Staff proudly join His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, together with the entire nation in commemorating the 46th Heroes and Defense Forces anniversary. On this day, we honor our national heroes whose courage and sacrifice secured the freedom and peace we cherish. Their legacy inspires us to build a stronger future. We also salute our defense forces for safeguarding the harmony that allows tourism to flourish in a peaceful environment. Celebrating our heroes the Zimbabwean way. Experience Zimbabwe na Kayedu ilifa letu, our heritage. This is us, Zimbo.
The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe would like to warn all motorists and passengers against overloading, as this can lead to loss of life and premature death. Overloading can cause instability to the vehicle, thereby making it harder to steer, whether on straight roads, bends, or when it hits a pothole. Say no to overloading. You never know, the life you save might be your own. This message was brought to you by the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe, TSCZ, keeping Zimbabwe's roads safe.
The Air Zimbabwe Board, Management and Staff join His Excellency, President Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa and the nation at large in commemorating Heroes and Defense Forces Days. On this solemn occasion, we honor the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe whose courage, sacrifice and patriotism laid the foundation for the freedom, sovereignty and independence we enjoy today. We further pay tribute to the brave men and women of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces whose unwavering commitment continues to preserve our peace, defend our territorial integrity and uphold the security of our nation. As the national airline, Air Zimbabwe is inspired by the enduring values of resilience, unity and service embodied by our heroes. We are proud to play our role in advancing national development through connecting people, supporting tourism, enabling trade and fostering stronger ties among Zimbabweans across the world. Happy Heroes and Defense Forces Days. Air Zimbabwe, Zimbabwean hospitality in the skies.
We've always known what it takes to grow. But this is what it feels like to finally step inside the dream. It's that quiet moment when a room holds everything it used to be and everything it made possible. That this is actually mine feeling when the first payment hits. That pure adrenaline from a small space to an empire you rule. And when you said you'd almost sleep in your first car, we made sure you actually did. Plans may adapt, circumstances will evolve, but your growth, that's non-negotiable. Bank on growth with Stanbic Bank Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is our home, and we drive her growth.
Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We continue with our main news bulletin. Transmedia says there will be disruption of radio services in Bulawayo and surrounding areas tonight. In a statement, Transmedia confirmed the development, saying radio services will be temporarily switched off between 2200 hours to 2230 hours in preparation for the frequency modulation migration exercise. Transmedia said the exercise will last for less than an hour, adding in the coming weeks that radio services will be limited as engineers work to ensure technology and service is up to date with global standards.
Elsewhere, youths in Pelandaba Shabalala constituency in Bulawayo are celebrating new opportunities after benefiting from empowerment programs spearheaded by Tonganyika Trust.
Hundreds of youths in Pelandaba Shabalala and Bulawayo are benefiting from constituency youth empowerment programs. The initiative focuses on vocational skills, agriculture and small business development in line with government's agenda of leaving no one and no place behind.
Sizothola enye opportunity yokuthi sifunde njalo futhi ama skills akhona alula ngokwezandla imisebenzi yezandla ukwenzela ukuthi lanxa ungakwanisi ukubhala lokubala but uyakwanisa ukuyenza ngezandla.
Silapha eMandwandwe High koBulawayo. Thank you so much kakhulu ngalokho elisenzele khona. Mina bengisenza beauty therapy and I've gained lani liyazibonela engikutholileyo hope ukuthi they will go far and far kwezinye indawo zonke.
Masikhangele iscarcity yemisebenzi phandle lapha. Wena njengoba usufundile le Tonganyika Trust sokuyisithuba lakho manje ukubana uyesukuma lama skills lawa afundileyo ukwazi ukuyivula uyicreate leli thuba le-employment.
Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Bulawayo Metropolitan, Honorable Judith Ncube, stated that government remains committed to provide a conducive environment for youth participation towards national economic development.
To pay back for what they did by voting us in, we've come here to the community with projects. We've come here to the community with things like the Tonganyika Trust, thanks to Honorable Tongai Mnangagwa, who we partnered with here, and we have now taken our girl child especially through vocational training skills.
It is for young people to realize their full potential. As we celebrate today's achievements, let us commit ourselves to working together in building an upper middle income economy where every citizen has an opportunity to prosper. Bensithi lina ma-graduates ineliyaqakeza kuqala. Use them. Start businesses.
Beneficiaries say the program founded by the Deputy Minister of Tourism and Hospitality Industry, Honorable Tongai Mnangagwa, has restored hope and given them dignity through decent work.
And on that note, we take a short break. Stay with us.
And it's more safe. Ministry of Skills.
To ensure that skills match industry needs, we will continue to update the National Skills Audit Registry, reform the technical and vocational education training curricula, expand apprenticeship programs, and strengthen trade testing infrastructure.
The development of a nation is determined by its intellectual capacity. The Ministry of Skills Audit and Development is conducting sectoral skills audits and nationwide skills development programs. Join the revolution.
Ministry of Skills Audit and Development. Skilling, reskilling and upskilling for socio-economic transformation.
The Ministry of Defense invites the nation to join it in celebrating the 46th anniversary of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces Day at all traditional venues throughout the country on 11 August 2026. His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, will officiate during the main celebrations at Rufaro Stadium. Highlights of the main event include spectacular military parade inside the stadium, music from 700 Hours from Sulumani Chimbetu, Konangale and the A-Power Band, captivating parachute jumps, abseiling and other displays.
An afternoon soccer match between Namibia Defence Forces and Zimbabwe Defence Forces select teams. A fascinating ZDF retreat parade after the soccer match. Gates open at 600 hours. See you there. Zimbabwe Defence Forces, guaranteeing peace and stability for the attainment of Vision 2030.
The Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Honorable Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu, Deputy Minister, Honorable John Paradza, Permanent Secretary, Mr. Simon Masanga, Chief Director, Mr. Washington Jakata, and the entire ministry staff pay tribute to the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe whose unwavering courage, patriotism, and selfless sacrifice secured the nation's freedom and sovereignty. Their legacy inspires us to continue serving our country with dedication and integrity. As custodians of Zimbabwe's rich natural heritage, we reaffirm our commitment to conserving our environment, protecting our wildlife, strengthening climate resilience, and promoting sustainable development for the benefit of present and future generations. Happy Heroes Day, Zimbabwe. Happy Defence Forces Day, Zimbabwe.
The Minister of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training, Honorable Tino Machakaire, the Deputy Minister, Honorable Kudakwashe Mpambanga, the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Solomon Mhlanga, and staff join His Excellency President, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the entire nation in commemorating Heroes Day and Defence Forces Day. Today, we honor the brave sons and daughters of Zimbabwe whose courage, sacrifice, and patriotism secured our independence, freedom, and sovereignty. Their legacy teaches us that nation building requires commitment, resilience, unity, and selfless service. Heroes Day calls on every young Zimbabwean to reflect on the values that shaped our nation and to take responsibility for safeguarding the gains of our independence. On Defence Forces Day, we pay tribute to the Zimbabwe Defence Forces for their professionalism and dedication in protecting our peace, security, and territorial integrity. May these commemorations inspire every young person to be a champion of development and a guardian of our national values. Happy Heroes and Defence Forces Days, Zimbabwe.
The board, management and staff of the National Oil Infrastructure Company of Zimbabwe Private Limited, NOIC, join His Excellency, the Head of State and Government and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the entire nation in commemorating the Heroes and Defence Forces Days. We pay tribute to the visionary living and fallen heroes, heroines, and members of the Defence Forces whose courage, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment secured the country's freedom and sovereignty. Their legacy continues to inspire our collective responsibility to uphold the values of unity, integrity, resilience, and service to the nation. Long live our heroes. Long live Zimbabwe.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Mashonaland West Province will host this year's Heroes Gala that is set for Chemanza grounds in Mondoro, Mubaira this Tuesday.
It will be a night of pomp and fanfare in Mondoro as 25 artists descend on Chemanza grounds for the Heroes Day Gala. The Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Honorable Jemu Soda, said the event is a significant gathering, bringing together the nation under song and dance in commemoration of the country's heroes.
To wrap up the two, which is the Heroes commemorations and the Defence Forces Day, we are going to have a gala that will be held in Mondoro, at Chemanza grounds tomorrow. At 6 o'clock, the program will run from 6 to 6 in the morning. And at around 9 o'clock after the main news, it will be live on ZTV. This event will see or feature 25 artists. And just to mention a few, we will have Baba Harare, we will have Makingwazi, we will have Wenje, we will have the likes of Agatha Murudzwa, just to mention a few of the artists that will be performing tomorrow. So this is a very, very important event to mark the 46th Heroes celebrations. It has now become the tradition of the Second Republic that after such events like the Heroes and the Independence celebrations, we conclude with a gala. Through the principle of devolution, where the President is emphasizing on leaving no one and no place behind, the galas are rotating in our various provinces. This year we will be in Marsh West, and the district that has been chosen is Mondoro. So next year we will be moving to another district in the spirit of devolution.
From ZO 7, the event is an opportunity to connect with the younger generation.
Ngiyalinxusa ngiyalimema eChemanza grounds bayirwa growth point ngaphi eMondoro ngoba siyabe sile Heroes Gala celebrate bonke labo abasulwelayo amaqhawe ethu ayenza ukuthi sithole uzibuse
chengetipha izvinhu zvinyowani nezvakasiyana siyana satoti tose uyai mese nemufaro tichirangarira kuti takabva kupi nyika yedu yakabvipi kuti izova zvairi.
They join a diverse lineup featuring Jam Master, Baba Harare, Mark Ngwazi, Peter Moyo, Alan Chimbetu, and Dumudizo, and attended Chinks, Chief Wenje, and the LGM Choir, among others. The gala will be broadcast live on Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation Television. Patience Nyagato, CBC News, Harare.
25 top artists billed to perform at the gala. Be sure to join us for sport when we come back after the break.
The Minister of Lands and Rural Development, Honorable Evangelist Peter Ritatos, the Deputy Minister, Honorable Tsitsi Zhou, the Permanent Secretary, Professor Prosper Vumiranai Matondi, and the entire ministry staff join His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the people of Zimbabwe in commemorating Heroes Day and Defense Forces Day. On this solemn and proud occasion, we pay tribute to the courageous sons and daughters of Zimbabwe, whose unwavering bravery, patriotism, and supreme sacrifice secured our freedom, defended our sovereignty, and laid the foundation for peace and unity we continue to enjoy as a nation. Our land, our prosperity.
The Chief Director of Immigration, Ms. Respect Gono, together with management and staff, join His Excellency, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the entire nation in commemorating Heroes and Defense Forces Days. The Department of Immigration salutes our gallant heroes and heroines for the supreme sacrifices they made towards the liberation of our beloved country. We remain resolutely committed to facilitating the safe movement of people and trade across Zimbabwe's sovereign borders while upholding with great pride our mandate to safeguard national security and the well-being of our communities. Thank you, Siyabonga, Tinotenda, to our heroes and defense forces.
The Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development, Honorable Advocate F. Timona, Deputy Minister Honorable J.K. Sako, Secretary Engineer P.J. Makumbe, Management and staff, join His Excellency, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Colonel Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa and the nation in commemorating Heroes Day and Defense Forces Day, as we honor the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe, whose supreme sacrifice secured our freedom, independence and sovereignty. We reaffirm our unwavering commitment to preserving the values they fought for through the delivery of modern, safe and efficient transport infrastructure that drives national development. We salute the brave men and women of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces for their steadfast dedication and selfless service in safeguarding our nation's peace, security and territorial integrity. Let us preserve the values of our liberation heritage by building a modern, inclusive and prosperous nation. We remember, we honor, we build.
Texting while driving. What a dangerous thing to do on the wheel. Be smart. Put the phone down. Don't text and drive. This message is brought to you by the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe. Safety first. There is no second chance.
Whether you're a small-scale, medium-scale, or large-scale mining operation, TechMate Engineering is your trusted engineering partner. Since 2004, we've been designing, manufacturing, supplying, and installing quality mining equipment from bore mills, hoists, headgears, and ore bins to complete CIP plants and mineral processing solutions. We are committed to powering your mining success every step of the way. Call us today on 0716 801 338. TechMate Engineering, excellence through innovation.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news on this Heroes Day. Defending Premier Soccer League champions Scotland have advanced to the last 16 of the Zifa Mutapa Challenge Cup after overcoming a spirited FC Oden side 3-0 at Baobab Stadium in Mondorongezi today.
In a battle of two former Warriors captains, Noben Mapeza leading Scotland and Willard Katsande at the helm of SC Oden, this Mutapa Challenge encounter lived up to its billing for the greater part of the 90 minutes. Scotland came into the match wary of another giant-killing act after fellow PSL giants Highlanders and Dynamos were eliminated by lower league opposition. And FC Oden were determined to keep that giant-killing spirit alive. For long periods, it looked as if Scotland would suffer the same fate. Emmanuel Jalai and Nigerian Ategeng Neville both struck the woodwork, while Brazilian De Campos Anderson saw his first half penalty saved as Oden somehow kept the defending PSL champions at bay. With the second half almost slipping away and Mapeza preparing to call for reinforcements in Knowledge Mson and Kama Billiat were started on the substitute bench. Moses Shidolo finally broke Oden's resistance. Substitute Sidolo produced a beautifully executed free kick in at the 75th minute, giving Scotland the breakthrough they had desperately searched for. And barely a minute later, the contest was effectively over. A fellow second-half substitute, Mchokozi Zimsebe, unleashed a thunderbolt to double Scotland's advantage and extinguish Oden's hopes of another giant-killing act. Musona and Billiat were eventually introduced, but by then the damage had already been done, with Scotland safely through to the last 16, and they entertained the crowd with Billiat winning a penalty that was converted by Musona. For much of the game, Oden stood toe-to-toe with Scotland, but Scotland's quality, experience and late reinforcements eventually made the difference, ensuring the defending champions avoided the fate that befell Dynamos and Highlanders. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Mondorongezi.
Preparations for the National Youth and Paralympic Games are well underway in Mashonaland East Province as the province counts down to the sporting showcase, which starts this Wednesday.
With just days before the start of the National Youth Games, scheduled from the 12th to the 18th of this month, and the Paralympic Games set for the 28th to the 26th, team managers from the country's 10 provinces have confirmed their readiness for the sporting extravaganza.
We are motivated as team maidens because we have had the support of our pro stick And in terms of finances, we are good to go.
We are going to bring all the sports codes except judo. In terms of funding, our financial department is doing quite a lot.
I'm very happy that we have taken a number of sport codes into the camp, and to ensure inclusivity, we also have Paralympics.
Organizers confirmed that the final coordination meeting has been held and the sporting facilities inspected.
We are happy that all the game villages are ready, all the grounds have been inspected. We are also looking at issues to do with the welfare of the kids safeguarding. That has been polished.
The host province, Mashonaland East, is equally confident that the necessary infrastructure and logistical arrangements to accommodate thousands of participants are now in place.
Tinoda kuzivisa mhuri yeZimbabwe kuti kuno kuMashonaland East Province tagadzirira zvakakwana kuti tive nemitambo yedu yeNational Youth and Paralympic Games.
The event is also expected to play a key role in identifying and nurturing athletes who represent Zimbabwe at major international competitions. Kenya's Chifushe, ZBC News, Marondera.
And that day, our look at sport. The weather report and forecast is next.
Time for your weather update. Here's hoping you had a wonderful Heroes holiday right across the whole country. And Matopos had -2 degrees Celsius at ground with moderate ground frost. Elsewhere, we had chilly conditions, particularly the southern, the eastern parts of the country, where it was brief cloudy for most of the period. However, some sunshine was experienced, especially over the northern provinces of the country. Meanwhile, we're expecting southeasterlies to be steering as a result of that high pressure system over the southeast coast of South Africa. And this should affect our weather as we move into tomorrow, where cloudy, windy and cold conditions are expected over the south and eastern parts of the country. Your minimum temperatures for the main city centers: the capital city, Harare, 14. Very cold conditions at Gweru, Bulawayo, as well as Lupane there with 9 degrees Celsius. Expect some slight to moderate ground frost in those areas. Your maximum temperatures, 27 for the capital city, Harare. Bit depressed over Gwanda with 20, as well as Chiredzi and Masvingo. Otherwise, Kariba should be having 30 and Victoria Falls were 29. Bulawayo expect some windy conditions, that is on Wednesday. Matopos again very cold conditions, particularly on Wednesday and Thursday. Same for Gwanda, depressed temperatures the whole day. Masvingo again very cold conditions expected. It should be cloudy. Well, Gweru again a bit of cloud here and there, but it should be cold in the morning. Mutare again bit of cloud, but it should be cold throughout. Nyanga, very cold conditions expected. Marondera, very cold conditions expected with windy episodes. Harare again, expect some very cold conditions in the morning, becoming mild later. Kwekwe, very cold again in the afternoon. Kadoma, the same conditions are expected. Chinhoyi, again, a bit of cloud here and there. Lupane, again, sunshine. That is tomorrow. Bindura, again, expect some partly cloudy conditions. Victoria Falls, Plaindale, sunshine there. It should be cool to mild in the afternoon. Lastly, Kariba, Plaindale, sunshine is expected. Well, that does it in tonight's edition of the Weather Report and Forecast. It's back to the main desk.
Thanks a lot, Benjamin Kwaramba, there with the weather report and forecast, bringing us to the end of tonight's main news. But I'm sure Heroes celebrations continue across the country.
Of course, indeed. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Thank you and good night.